Good evening, everyone. This is Maisha Chalani, and we are live on ThetaTalks. Today, we have a very deep topic on depression and anxiety, different layers among those. So, we have a special guest that we've invited who is actually our resident Theta healer. So, she is and has been part of the Theta healing community for a very long time, and you can actually have a session with her if you would like. So we are going to have a very in-depth talk and session about these various topics. And so I am just waiting to see where she is. Hope she is going to be live soon. And if anything, the goal of Theta Talks is to inspire you to know that, there's a lot of different areas that you may know that there are a lot of different areas that you may be aware of and you might be shining light towards in terms of empowering you, right? Maybe you've never realized that Theta Healing can help you in these areas. But at the end of the day, the goal is to learn something new, to be able to realize and understand that the power is actually within you.
Hello. Hi, Maisha.
Hello. I'm
Hello.
good. How are you?
Good. It's a very gloomy morning here. It's been raining all night. So,
Is it?
yes. But it's
Okay.
good. It's good. The winter rainy mornings are sometimes good.
So you are not in the Philippines? You
No,
are in?
I'm based out of US. I am on the East Coast. That's
Okay,
where
so
I'm.
I was just mentioning how you are our resident theta healer
Okay.
and how you can also or our clients can have a session. And somebody actually said, Die Hard Sven said, I would like to try a session. So that's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
Because we're going to give you a link on how you can do that after
Yeah.
our segment.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Okay, so this topic is a little bit intense,
Yeah.
right? But it's something that really resonates with you. So tell me a little bit about these areas that you have. Have you experienced it? Are you speaking from your client's experience? Where do you think, or why did you want to talk or explore this? Is it a bit choppy for you there? I hear a background. You're
No, for me it's
clear?
all good. Yeah, all good.
Okay, let me see. Maybe it's my end. Okay, let's see if it continues. Then we might
Okay.
need to
Sounds
take
good.
this off.
I can
Yes.
hear you
So,
loud and clear. Yeah.
okay, go ahead. So tell me
Okay,
a
so
little bit about the topic.
yeah, I am very close to this topic. I'm a mental health advocate myself, right? And I come from a South Asian family, so I know these are some of the topics which are not very open to talk about still, right? Uh, our generation and the generations forward now are becoming more and more open about it, and I think that it is high time that everybody starts talking about it. That depression, anxiety, stress, all of these things exist, but when they exist at the same time, you can get over with them as well, right? So I myself have a very personal experience. I got into healings many years back because of this. I was diagnosed of clinical depression. Of course, nobody understands what clinical depression is. I'm talking about 12, 13 years back, and at that point in time I was in India. And then I was put on some medication. I was taking about 16 to 18 pills a day. Eventually I moved to Philippines, and somebody recommended, hey, do you want to go to an alternative therapy kind of a thing?
So
I
when
had
you
no idea.
moved, you were still on that many pills?
Yes, I was. So I'm talking about 6 months into my movement, and I was still on those medication. And I had no idea about what alternative therapy is, right? People have some experience with Reiki, which is very popular, energy healing, but I had no idea. I went through it. I said, okay, nothing is working. Let me at least give this a try. When you're drowning, all you need is a little bit of help. So I'm like, okay, I'm wasting money on medication. Nothing is helping. Let me go ahead and just try this thing. So I went. my session was done, and some of the people who are watching this, they might just laugh about this right now, because when my session was done, the healer said, okay, you're done, you can go. And I was like, what just happened? Right? I didn't experience anything because I didn't know what was I supposed to experience. I didn't, so I just, I just went home and I was like, dude, I wasted my money here. I think I've been made a fool out of. And then, but something changed because, I started coming back. Something had shifted. I just couldn't understand it at that point in time, but something had shifted. So I was, possibly I had started to feel a little bit of hope, or I had started to connect some dots after the first session that, oh, wait, this is exactly what healer said. This is what's happening in my life. This is
Right.
the reason I'm, possibly this is the reason I'm still having these issues.
And sometimes it's really something that you may need to process, right, to connect the
Absolutely.
dots.
Absolutely. You sometimes you just need somebody to tell you that, okay, look at this from this perspective. And you're like, yeah, you're right. That makes sense now. Right. So that, I think, was the breakthrough for me. It didn't come immediately, but it came gradually. Within 6 to 7 months, I was off my medication, and I think I never went back after that. Right. I just started to learn this myself because I was like, this helps. I am feeling so much better. So let me self heal. And once I started to self heal, I started, taking sessions after that. Now, I think, Maisha, this puts me to mention that this is the reason why we have these emotional breakthrough sessions now, the 20-minute ones, because you can very easily establish with the client, hey, this is what you're going to expect in the session.
Mm,
So, right, this is what the flow is, because I think I had no idea about what I was getting into those
correct.
years back. So people who want to try a session,
Now
emotional
has
breakthrough
that
sessions,
opportunity.
yeah,
Yeah.
that is the opportunity, because we help you understand what the issue, first we'll help you understand what to expect out of the healing session. How does your issue, is a perfect example of why you could be healed,
Yeah.
right? And then you would know what to expect. This is an investment you're making on yourself, whether it's about money, whether it's about time. So, emotional breakthrough sessions, I think, are the wonderful, it's just the space to start.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Absolutely. Now, Nana, I want to just rewind a little bit. Okay.
yeah,
Um, how did you know to go and, I mean, this is like 12, 13 years ago, right?
yeah.
What were you feeling that you felt, oh, I need to see somebody about it? Like, I want to kind of break down some feelings and emotions that clients may feel and maybe even categorize them. Because I mean, there's so many words. There's depression, there's anxiety, there's sadness, so how do we kind of differentiate where and how and what do we do in terms of the next step? What were you
Right.
feeling?
Right, and that's a very good question, Maisha, because I see a lot of people confuse these things, right?
Yeah.
People will very casually mention, oh, I'm depressed or I have anxiety, when all they are doing is possibly just feeling unhappy about something. And
Mm,
then there are people who are unhappy or sad, and they don't want to address that they are going through anxiety or depression, which does require more help, right?
mm,
So, very good question. So, see, the way I see it is that sadness, unhappiness are fleeting emotions. You
mm,
could be sad about something, right? You could
mm.
be sad because you have a bad day. You could be unhappy because something did not happen the way you anticipated it to happen, right? So all of these are, of course, valid emotions. You can feel sad, you can feel unhappy. Anxiety, on the other hand, I feel comes from fear,
Yeah.
right? That is what if playing for you, right?
Mm,
What if this goes wrong? What if that goes wrong? And that comes from something that you have been through, right? Possibly there were issues in the childhood when you had to have your guards up at all times. Life was unsafe, uncertain. The caregivers were not there at any point in time, or you went through anything which led to any event which led to a trauma for you, right? And that was not addressed. Now every time something happens in your life, your mind is, has its guards up, your body has its guards up, and that is where you get into that anxiety loop, right?
mm.
What if this is going to go wrong, and you start feeling anxious about it.
Yeah.
Depression, on the other hand, and I was watching one of the interviews by Jim Carrey, wherein he made a very good statement. He said, I feel that depression should be renamed to deep resting.
Mm.
right? Because depression is actually when your mind has, or your body is shutting down now.
Yeah.
There's no hope after this. You're feeling that now there's darkness in this tunnel. I'm not going to see any light after this. That is where your body and your mind start shutting down, because you know what? It's about, I can't keep up anymore. The mind is
Mhm.
saying, the body is saying, I cannot keep up anymore. I cannot keep up with the pretense that everything is okay. So
Yeah.
I need to go in resting now. And that's where
Mhm.
depression comes in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. That is a great analogy. I
Yeah.
like that. So we've got depression, we've got anxiety down,
Yeah.
right? And I like how you described that fleeting emotions versus something that is a repeated pattern
Correct.
that you
Correct.
feel again and again and
Yeah.
again. So when you had seen somebody for your issue, it was something that you kept feeling again and again. Is that how it was?
Right. So I was, for me, depression was, I think, almost 4 or 5 years worth of issues that were piling up.
Mm,
Eventually, the issue had become so severe that I was having suicidal thoughts.
right.
So for me, it was so severe enough that, I had gained about 20-25 kgs of weight. I was not sleeping well. Every night for me, I used to wake up screaming because I was having nightmares. So all of
Mm,
that was going on, right? I
right.
was developing severe migraine, multiple other health issues, IBS, GERD, because all of this is related, as I said, deep resting, because
Yeah.
the body was shutting down already.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
So all the other areas also
correct.
are
It's
affected. So
absolutely.
when you took or started taking these 16, 18, pills,
Mhm.
right, per day, did it help you? Like up to what extent did it actually, how did you feel?
I would say that, anybody who's watching this, if you're going through depression, anxiety, do not stop your medication, first of all, right? That's not something we recommend at all.
Yeah,
Do see your
absolutely.
doctor. But I would also say that, bigger impact came up with this accentuated healings that I was doing on the side. I
Mm,
never stopped my medication. I
yes.
stopped my medication when I really started feeling so much better that I got back into my life,
Yeah,
right? So that is very important. My
absolutely.
medication were helping me enough to at
Your
least
doctor
be
needs
hopeful.
to wean you off,
Correct,
right?
correct. Yeah, and like I have to just look at it like there are two therapies going on, right? So one is with your medical, doctors, your medication is going on. So at least for me, I would say that the medication gave me enough hope to say, okay, let me try something else.
Mm.
At least that was there. There are some people who are on severe depression who would not be able to be in a session immediately and say, okay, let me work on myself and get out of this, because for
You
them
were
everything
able
is
to
so
see a
dark.
little bit of light, right? You
Exactly.
described that depression is that darkness you can't see. So that kind of helped you see that little bit of light.
Correct. And I would say medication helped in that, at least in up to that extent, the medication helped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you decided, I mean, obviously 16 and 18 tablets is a lot to have per
Too
day.
much, too much. I was on sleeping pills, I was on anti-stress, I was on
Wow.
depression pills. There was like so much going on. Then I
Okay.
had all these health issues that developed. So, everything was going on together.
So when you did your theta healing session, right?
Mhm.
What your healer did was try to figure out where is or the root of the depression. Is that right? And
Absolutely.
when did it actually start?
Yeah.
And by uncovering that, I'm just putting it out there and correct me, right, if I'm wrong. By understanding that and healing that and clearing that and neutralizing that experience, um, it allowed you to number one understand, because a lot of us, I think a lot of our issues is, you know we feel, what is wrong with us, why is this happening, and I think it's really, that feeling is a really icky feeling, thinking that this is something wrong with me and that's why it's happening, right?
Yeah.
Versus having a, oh, this is why I'm feeling what I'm feeling,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That awareness, that understanding, that that aha moment, right?
Yeah.
It gives you that.
such a sense of relief, don't you think? Right?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, now I know. I wasn't being silly. I wasn't exaggerating. It's real. It was there, and this is why.
True, true. Maisha, I would say that, from a healing standpoint, so what happens, and I'll just give you a quick preview here on the people for the people who are watching, is, during the healing session, the way I describe theta healing is it's a combination of therapy, counseling, coaching, right? And a
Mm.
lot of regression therapy that you go through, right? So I always say that even though I follow certain modalities every now and then, I'm very close to theta healing, and I really, sometimes it's like you're selling snake oil, but the truth is I'm so close to it because I've seen
Don't
the
say
kind of
that.
yeah. No, because the kind of impact that it has, I'm
Yeah.
so pro it that even if somebody would come and talk to me about other modalities, I'm like, no, wait, there is so much strength in this modality because you're getting the benefit of so much in one
Yes.
session, right? You're going through talk therapy, you're going through meditation and a lot of clearing, which you do in deep somatic healings, and you end the session with the coaching,
Yeah.
right? Because as a healer, somebody like, for example, if I'm doing your session, Maisha is doing your session, anybody else is doing your session, they will also establish a quick roadmap for you that, hey, this is over now. What do you think your life is going to
What's
look
the
like?
action steps moving
Right, so
forward?
the kind of impact it will have in your life is immense, and I've experienced it myself, and that's the reason I got into it. So in the session, you get to know that, okay, this is what is going on right now. This is why something got created. Now if something got created, you have the power to change it also. And as a healer, we help establish those steps, very practical steps that you're going to do in your life as you move forward as well.
No, absolutely.
Powerful.
And I mean, it's beautiful that we are able to do this every day, not only for ourselves, but
Yeah.
other people, right? And see that change and that ripple effect around. So, you got into theta healing coming from these experiences, right? And now you are, and have been a resident theta healer with the Theta for a while now,
Yeah.
right? So, are there any examples of clients, anything that kind of stands out that you want to maybe share with our audience?
There are many examples now. I'm thinking which is the best one to pick up. Should we talk specifically about mental health issues? Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
yeah. So, one of my clients, and it was a very recent experience, with this client. So, she had some anxiety issues. So, she came in saying that, listen, I have not stepped out of the house for years.
Wow.
Okay, I am homeschooled, I live with my parents, and I don't, even if I have to go out to my back porch, I have to think twice. So that level of anxiety, right? And I mean, that's hello, did I lose you, Maisha?
Go ahead. Yeah.
Did I lose you? Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, yes. I just put my
Okay.
headphones in. I'm thinking it might be okay now. So let's
Okay,
continue.
sounds good.
Apologies.
No, you're fine. So yeah, so I was telling you about this client, right? So I told her, this is not normal, right? Do you think this is
Mhm.
normal that you've not stepped out for years? You have not stepped out of your house. You're a young girl. And she's like, I've always been so anxious, even if I have to go to the front porch or the back porch of my own house, I can't. I just cannot. So when we started, healing, when we started with the session, so the way the session goes is that, as a healer, I'm psychic. I can scan into your space. I can figure out what's going on with you, right? And we start with the talk therapy right there, right? That what is going on? Where did this issue start? So this person shared with me that, I was really small and my mom used to work. And every time she would step out of the house, I would feel that I can't live with all my siblings here because these are all boys. I'm the only girl, and my dad is there. And one day they forgot to feed me, right?
Wow.
So that was the moment when this little child developed a trauma that, what, I'm not safe with anyone except my mother. And how does
Mm.
this manifest in the future is she just cannot leave her mom's space to the extent that all her life she's been homeschooled. because the moment she steps out of the house, she breaks into hives or she breaks into any kind of severe allergic reaction. She cannot be away from her mother.
Wow.
Right, so that was a great breakthrough. We did, after the session, we also had like a 21-day plan for her, that how are you going to get into a habit, because you know what, healings are good, they are wonderful spiritual stuff that we do, but till the time you do not practically make changes in your life, you're going to get stuck in that loop still, right?
No, absolutely. So, I mean, that's a great example
Yeah.
of finding the root, understanding where it's coming from, and taking that action steps required to get out of it,
Right.
right? And it takes a lot of courage, right, for somebody to be able to make that move or take that step, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, at this point, I would also like to put a shout out to all these clients of ours who actually decided to take that step into their own healings, take control of their life, to kind of, you know, try what is this
Absolutely.
EBS and what is this theta healing, right?
Yeah.
Um, and in your case, you had tried psychiatrist, you had tried, the medication, and then you got to the point where, okay, let's try alternative, and I think that's like the route that a lot of people take. And what I realize is, and I'm sure you can resonate with this, is, you know, they, after that one session, like you did, is like, I spent so much money and so much time on all these other types of therapy. And all it took was this one session for me to
Correct.
understand, for me to shift, for me to feel, empowered, or me to feel lighter, right? That burden you've been carrying for such a long time.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
definitely, encourage everybody to try that ABS so that they can also experience healing. Now, I wanted to ask another question relating to, anxiety and depression. Sometimes there's a feeling of anxiety even though nothing is wrong,
Yeah.
right? Have you had clients that felt that way where there wasn't really, I don't know why I'm feeling anxious, but I'm feeling anxious. Nothing is really going on in my life, but I'm feeling anxious,
Yeah.
right? What are your thoughts on that?
So, see, that is the bit about anxiety, right? It keeps you stuck in a loop till the
Mm,
time you do not address it. So, think of it. I'm going to give you a quick example. Say, for example, you're playing something and you get hurt on your foot, right? Now, you don't pay attention to it, but you keep walking, and every time you bang your foot slightly somewhere, it hurts severely, right? The pain keeps growing and growing, and it becomes an injury that you really now have to go to the doctor for, right? And they say, oh, you know what, years worth of issue, this is going to require severe medication, etc., etc. That is exactly what you're doing, right? When you are not processing your emotions. And this is exactly why I say mental health talks are so important, because you know what, you got hurt on your foot while you were playing, but you know what, you got hurt in your mind, in your body, because you went through a trauma. Your body is always going to remember that trauma unless you process it, right? So there is a trauma wound that has got created. Now every time something happens in your life, it's like that wound gets poked, right? And it keeps coming up, and that's why, even if there's nothing wrong in your life, that anxiety starts poking you, because you know what, even if a smallest thing has happened, your body will suddenly have your guards up, the mind will suddenly have the guards up, that oh, there's a danger. Now what happens is you start living in that loop, because
mm,
the mind and the body has become so used to danger loop, that even if there's no danger around, it will just unnecessarily keep triggering it. And that's the reason people fall into that loop of anxiety.
yeah.
So very important to process what has happened, to look at that trauma wound, and then, so that you can start teaching your body that it is safe. You can start teaching your mind that it is safe. And somebody has written, is it a safety issue? Yes, a lot of times it is a safety issue. And the whole point is that you don't define that safety. Everything around you could be safe, your entire environment could be safe, but you do not know that what did your mind suddenly process as an unsafe. issue,
Mm.
right? So it might not be very clearly like, oh, there's something dangerous that has happened, but the mind has created a situation which it feels is danger, and then suddenly it will have, the fence up.
Yeah. So they're physically manifesting it already as
Yeah,
at the point that it is anxiety, right?
exactly.
And it's about acknowledging and understanding, okay, I'm feeling anxious. There must be a reason why. I know nothing is really going on in my life right now, but, right, the fact that I'm reacting this way means there is something there. There is something I need to explore. And I think that's also a big key in the tools um of understanding yourself is to really be very present and aware about what you're feeling in your body, about the emotions that you're feeling. Like, you mentioned, Nana, a lot of these feelings, you just ignored it, right? Or you didn't um, process it. And if you didn't process it or you ignored it, then it's going to end up as a bigger wound, right? So that's also a big lesson for our audience is to always acknowledge and understand and be aware of what you're feeling.
Absolutely.
And I like to kind of when clients ask me, do I need to work on this or not? And what I tell them is, how does it make you feel? Right? It could be that somebody's talking about like this topic, anxiety, and you at home might be feeling, oh, that's interesting, right? But then there are other people who feel like, oh, you know what? This topic makes me feel uncomfortable,
Yeah.
right? Or there are people who listen to this and, oh, now I understand why I'm feeling this way. So a good gauge, right, is to understand how does it make me feel? If it's a neutral, if it's a knowledge and it's a matter of fact, then there's nothing to really to work on. But if you're triggered, you feel, and you know what? When I use the word triggered, it's more like something in your body's activated and it doesn't feel right or it doesn't feel good, right? And that's where there's something to explore,
True. True.
right? So that's a
Yeah.
good gauge
Correct. And
to know.
it's right. And it's like not everything requires your attention as well, right? Sometimes you just have to talk to yourself and say, wait, is this coming from a fear? Am I
Mm.
being wise right now? Or is it just, just a fear? Because sometimes it's just an unnecessary fear that
Is
comes
it
up.
a premonition or an
Correct.
intuition, or
Right.
is it fear? Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
So that needs to be, you got to be aware of that. And if there's, the way I see it is, if there's something persistently bothering you, you have to pay attention to that. It's like a guest knocking at your door. So you have to open the door and address it.
And if you
So
don't, then it's going to get louder and
louder
louder
and louder.
and louder,
Exactly. Exactly.
right? So Evelyn has a question. How
Hmm.
can we support people we know who have anxiety and depression? What a great question, Evelyn.
Very good question. Okay, so I think the first and the foremost thing is to be aware that they have anxiety and depression. They are not going to snap out of it. I think that is
Mm.
something we just feel that, oh, there is a solution, you have to get out of it, or look at the brighter side of the life. They would not be able to see the brighter side of the
Yeah,
life
I
till
would
the
I would
time.
want to punch somebody if they tell me just be positive, right? Please
Exactly.
do not say that to somebody who's going through
Yeah. Yeah.
anxiety.
Because the first thing is, how do you think I haven't tried it, right? So
Yeah.
people who are going through anxiety and depression, I think the biggest thing you can do for them is to be compassionate for them and just stay with them, right?
Mm.
Just be with them through their journey. If they are open to something, any therapies, right? Some of the people who are severely depressed, they might not want to go through healing right away. Let's be honest about that, right? They might want to be on a medication first to at least feel hopeful enough to go for a healing, to at
Mm,
least take that responsibility back in their life, right? Some people might have to be put on medication. So that's the way you can be there for them, be compassionate for them, be there for them, and don't expect them to be okay just like in a snap. This takes
yeah,
time,
yeah.
right?
And I think also maybe even creating a window
Yeah,
of, you know, I understand you're feeling this way. It must be coming from somewhere. And that's where the compassion comes in, right? And there maybe the a good way to let go of this is to understand where it's coming from. You know,
yeah,
I have heard of this, of theta healing, or I've heard of this type of alternative therapy, maybe, right? And there's nothing. Okay, I want to say this. You lose nothing. The worst thing that could happen is you can end up like Nana and be free of those 18 and 16, you know,
pills.
tablets,
Yeah,
pills, right? So you have nothing to lose, right? So giving them options, because maybe at that point they don't know they have options. Their only option is, like you said, that darkness or that anxiety, right?
yeah,
Giving them that compassion and giving and offering, different ways. And it's not only theta healing, it could be a meditation, it could be a breathing exercise, right? And all of these do help, and providing with those tools.
right.
So I just realized that it is 9:32 already.
Oh, wow.
So we want to round up for today, and I would love to plug in our EBS, right? So it's bit.ly backslash backslash 𝑬-B-S. Okay, I'm hoping I got that right. If not, it is um
Caption somewhere,
in the
right?
caption somewhere,
Caption,
right?
bio, everything. Yeah.
So it's 20 minutes, right? It's either with Nana, with myself, or Anna's also our resident healer here, to be able to explore that, what can theta healing actually offer, right? Anything else you would like to add before we end, Nana?
No, I think we pretty much covered it all, right? I just feel, and I'm such a advocate, I'm saying that again, harping like a broken record here, that, mental health issues, I'm a very strong advocate of these. They can be healed, right? And they exist. I think the first and the most important thing is that they exist, right? So it's time that we all openly talk about them, and people, we all go through so much in our lives, whether it is at work, in personal lives, relationships, friends, everywhere, finances, right? So there is something or the other that keeps popping up all the time. So be mindful. Are you just sad, depressed? Are you anxious, right? So hope today's session was helpful to understand. And if you see that, you're heading to anxiety or panic or depression, it can be cured, right? So it can be healed. There are so many ways, and there are people who are there for you to help you as well in your own circle. So
Yeah,
there's
and I
always.
love that. I love how you say that maybe you're heading there. You're not there yet,
Correct.
right? And that's a great way to also stop it from getting there, right? The
Absolutely.
awareness.
Absolutely.
Everybody's at a different phase in their life.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So thank you again. I look forward to seeing you soon.
Likewise, Masha.
Thank you
Thanks
for
so much.
listening, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Bye bye.